الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين. Good morning, my students. Welcome to week number 8, I think, in this course of American Lit. Today we are supposed to continue discussing, chapter 25 through 35, I think. And let's see, before discussing, what you have prepared. I think most of you prepared the chapters. How did you find them? How did you find chapter 25?
This teacher.
Yes?
In this chapter we are introduced to a new story and new characters, the family of Mary Jane and her sisters, and how they inherited Peter Wilkes by giving $3,000 for the three sisters or the three nieces and a house, and other $3,000 to his brothers. Then the king and the duke manipulated her and and she she gave them the money, and she.
So we have the Peter Wilkes
story.
episode.
Yes.
And we know, if you remember, at the end of chapter 24, when they escaped the raging mob after swindling them, they met a man in the river, and the man told them about, if you remember, Peter Wilkes, and they decided to to act like the brothers of Peter Wilkes in order to take the money.
The money, yes.
Okay. Yes, this is very interesting episode. Huck is going to observe, and we might, I don't know, blame him for being...
He felt guilty at the end.
Yeah, he felt guilty.
Yes. This is the good thing.
But he was watching, he was observing. Good.
At the end.
Yes. What else do you want to say?
The smart act of the king and the duke, that they knew that the society or the people are stupid or naive to believe them.
Yes.
So they made some things to grab or to win their hearts in order to, if something bad happens, they go beside them. So this was very important point, the society and the naivety of them.
I think the people were easily
trapped.
They were easily deceived by the tricks of those people, and there we find there is a lot of satire, because those people were sentimental, and if you remember the Robinson episode,
he's the doctor.
When the doctor who was alerting them, but still they didn't believe him, because they just looked at one side only, and they didn't suspect the identity of those scoundrels, as he said. Okay, good. I think the reading. This reading is we have. I mean, the most important things in the reading of this week. Yes.
I think when the king repeat the same word, which is origins, here twins attack the gullibility of a human mind, and how they tried to talk as English one.
Yeah, they were imitating English.
Yes, the British accent.
They were twisting their jaws.
And Dr. Robinson said that this is the worst
British, imitation.
Accent I have ever.
Okay. I think, yes, in this chapters, Huck interfered and wanted to save the money of the orphans.
Yes, the aliens.
He was accused of not being able to tell lies.
Yes.
Dr. Robinson told him, "You have no experience in telling lies."
He failed in telling them lies.
Yeah, this time he told the truth. Some women didn't like, the episode of Mary Jane, asking her to leave. You know why he asked her to leave?
Because her face is too revealing, she doesn't know how to lie.
Yeah, okay. But there is anti-feminist thing here. Did you suspect there was anti-feminist?
Maybe because both of them don't lie, but Huck is not asked to leave. But
Huck you know, Huck, you're right, Huck has this, let's say, knowledge that women can easily reveal what's in their heart.
Yes.
Like when he told her, like, let's say this secret, I want you to hold it as a man. So man keeps secrets, women do not. They are like open book. Very, you know, funny. And like some women, when they read this, they are mad with Twain, you know, because they think he's anti-feminist. Like we remember how Huck criticized Julia Moore earlier. Okay, good. I think the reading until chapter 31 like culminates, all the actions culminate in the climax.
Yeah, and 31, yes.
31.
Yes.
What is the climax? Yes.
The climax is set here in chapter 31 when Huck's conscience is tormented between if he could report about Jim to Miss Watson and to say that he's to report about him or not. But
Yeah,
he finally consults his conscience and says, all right, then I'll go to him. He will consult him.
Yeah, it's the climax is when Jim is disappeared. Like there are many things that change even inside Huck himself, and he's going to take more steps.
So this is irreversible decision,
yes,
you would say.
Exactly.
Irreversible decision, like he's not going
It's
after
not easy
that.
to decide.
Yeah, it was like a serious and a sincere conflict. And, you know, to some extent it was, you know, we feel it was a moral conflict because it is good to be submissive to the social values, the social laws. And it is also good, like, to be, let's say, loyal to your friend, your companion. So it was really a conflict which he, you know, decided to come to terms with his own conscience, and he decided to let Jim free. Okay, and I think, you know, after this chapter we have like the Phillips plantation,
Yes,
where
and
we have
meeting Tom Sawyer
the
again.
most farcical
Yes.
scenes, meeting Tom, and
Yes.
these symbolic
Planning to help
things
Jim.
of rebirth, etc. Okay. Like, does anybody have a specific summary of any chapter? Okay. Now, in fact, you wrote like long summary. Just I want a small summary. Yes.
It's like I want
Okay.
about the chapter when the Duke, the Dolphin, and Huck and Jim were in the raft, and a man come to them to tell the Dolphin introduced himself as Alexander. So the man told them about he wished if they were Wells' brothers. Here the Dolphin thinks in a new deception of these people, so he go to this.
So they were opportunists, you want to say?
Yes, they pretend that they are Wells' brothers, Harvey and William, and they go to this town to take Peter Wells' fortune.
Okay, this is like what we said, the end
24.
of 24.
No, at the
before,
beginning.
yeah, the end of, you know, when like they found this man by chance on the river, and you know they took the chance and they started to get information, and they decided to play tricks on those people. Okay, let's see more solid response. Who's willing to read her response?
Report.
Yeah, I mean report or response, whatever. Okay, yes.
Okay, it's called Identity Crisis. Okay, I'm living in the 21st century and the identity crisis is still there. It was a cool coincidence to get Henry David Thoreau when I tried the quiz of what is the classical writer that matches your character. You know, he's an American writer, and he wrote an essay of the simple living in the natural surroundings. That surely fits me. some extent, I feel I'm living the period of the self-searching and self-reliance, exactly like the American period. But again, if I'm starting a new research about the 21st century characteristics, it would be absolutely the self-searching characteristic, among the cruel and inhuman world. History repeats itself, and time is a cycle and that's what literature proves me. Huck was written in the 19th century, and new people are born there with the same hypocrisy, illusions, and convictions, bad convictions, religion is also manipulated to justify self-interest, forgery, materialistic people who are ready to kill for a small amount of money. And still, we daily listen to brotherly love sermons, and that changes nothing in us, unfortunately. Now people are born and have that personal adventures of self-searching, or even searching about answers for questions about the creation itself, that would surely shape their identity. I am a different version of Huck, and we are all modern Hucks. This is what I'm thinking about, so I need to get to find myself.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is like a reader response.
Yes.
Yes, we as Palestinians, we feel that occupation is like slavery.
Yes.
And our land was occupied, and our identity is being subjected to systematic obliteration. We are striving, we are sticking to our identity. We need to be ourselves. So we have a lot of things common. Colonization is like slavery.
Yes.
You take the land,
And
you
enslave the
confiscate, you think that people are like a property. You besiege them like what is happening in Gaza. Anyway, yes?
Because we reached to our conclusion that nature can affect positively in anyone, I wrote these lines. I wonder from those who wrote about nature in philosophical way. Just open your window at morning and start your day. Wander in the land, sun, sky, and sea, birds, snow, rainbow, and tree. With high wisdom you will be richer. Let your imagination to be free as a sketcher. Don't close your eyes or mind, but be to beauty catcher. Be far away to chaos and butcher, gazing in God's creature. That will lead you to be religious and preacher. Thank God for His beauty in every feature. By a beautiful feature in nature, you will be wise teacher.
Okay. Thank you again. This has to do with being in nature. This is transcendentalism. And as we repeated many times, it is in nature, it is on the river, like Huck takes decisions. It's Huck gains his values. Huck, is being himself in the river, and in the town he gets confused. He gets upset with all the corruption. Okay, now the presenters should get themselves ready. Do you have your colleague coming? So yes, you're the presenters. They said you have 15 minutes, okay?
Good morning, everybody. Today I will present the next chapters from chapter 24. Chapter 24, these chapters from 24 to 32 talks about the adventures of Huckleberry Finn with the Duke and the Dauphin. What do they do and what they make with each other. To start with chapter 24, these are outlines. The Duke discussed Jim as a Sikh Arab. When they go in the raft, they want to go to a town. So the Duke discussed Jim as a Sikh Arab because he doesn't want people to know them as because he has a black skin. So he doesn't want people to know that he is a slave. He's a slave. and he and the Dauphin and the Duke also dresses a new clothes. So Huck sees how clothes can change the appearance of people. Then they meet a young man. This young man tells them that he wishes if they are Wilkes brothers, because Wilkes brothers died and his brothers are in England, so he wants them to come and to the funeral of Peter Wilkes. But the Dauphin asks him many questions to know the truth or who's that Peter Wilkes, and to know what to do to deceive these people. After that, the man told the Duke and the Dauphin that Peter Wilkes has two brothers. One is Harvey and the other is William. And one is a preacher, the other is deaf and blind. So the Duke and the Dauphin play the role and go to the town to receive that people. When they go to the town, they ask people where does Peter Wilkes live. They told them that he died, so they claim that they are heartbroken and they start to cry. They when they go to the town, people start to believe them that they are the real brothers of Peter Wilkes. We have a quotation about in this chapter about Huck, that Huck still has this prejudice thinking about Negroes. The quotation is, well, if ever I struck anything like it, I am a nigger, it was enough to make a body ashamed of human race. So the thinking of racism and slavery is still in Huck's mind.
He has not like given up.
Yes, the idea of racism.
Still affected.
Moving to chapter 25, the Dauphin and the Duke go to Peter Wilkes' house. They pretend that they are the uncles of the three nieces. Here they start to talk about they take the will and they want to divide everything. The three daughters, as written in the will, that the three daughters will take $3,000 and the house, and everything else is for Harvey and William. And they agree about this, and they know about where the bag of gold is hidden. They take it, and they're so glad. But there is Dr. Robinson who suspects the two men. He believes that they are frauds. How he knows this? Because of his accent. Yes, his fake England accent. Yes. But unfortunately, people do not believe Dr. Robinson. We have these quotations: any man that pretended to be an Englishman and couldn't imitate the lingo no better than what he did was a fraud and liar. But people do not believe him, so at the end he said, I wash my hands from the matter. So
give up. He gives up.
Yes, he gives up. Chapter 26. Huck see Mary Jane in the kitchen and she's crying. He sits with her and she start to talk. They started to talk about his life in England and how they deal with the slaves. And as Huck always did, telling more lies, and he started to lie. And still he has this thinking about slaves that we.
And this time he told her the truth.
Yes.
He told her
at the end.
She accused her that he didn't talk the truth, but he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he told her that they deal with them worse than dogs, and they are just slaves. we didn't give them holidays, and they do not go to the church. But even though Huck has this kind of morality, he wants, when he saw everything and he knew that the Dauphin and the Duke deceived them, so he decided to help the girls. How he helped them? He go to the Duke and Dauphin room, and he steals the gold, the bag of gold, and he decided to hide it. But he found the front door is locked, so he the nearest place to him was the coffin. So the money returned to Peter Wells.
Very funny, huh?
Yes. And when he
again, like the question about money, money and death
yes.
are juxtaposed.
And when he hides in the closest and start to spy on them and the king.
Also, we can see the materialistic thinking of the Dauphin and the Duke.
Yeah.
All what they care about is money. Another idea is the important that in this chapter Huck is no longer innocent and he wants to commit himself to help the girls. This is foreshadowing to what will make later, that Huck will also help Jim to free him.
So now we have, Huck having his own moral standards.
Yes. As I said, that he steals the bag of money and he hide it in the coffin. Another thing is that the Dauphin and the Duke do not want only this bag of money.
The cash.
They want to occasion the house. A slave trader also come, they buy the servants, but Huck keeps the mom because he knows that they will return back to see their mom. After the final day, in the final day, the Dauphin and the Duke still didn't realize that the bag of gold is disappeared. After the funeral. The final day, they realized that the bag is missing. Huck listened some voices, and so he know that the Dauphin knows that the bag of gold is hidden. The Dauphin asked Huck if he knows who take this bag, but also Huck has this speed of thinking and said, I saw these servants go there and maybe they take them, but he's glad with this idea because the servants are not there now, so they cannot be punished.
And there will be a motive to bring them back.
Yeah.
خلال كلامها في أخت تتكلم تردد نفس الكلام ده.
كيف؟
في أخت تردد نفس الكلام ده وتتكلم وتخش الصفين على بعض.
ماشي.
In chapter 24, Mary Jane is sad because the servants are separated from their mom and she cannot see from their families. In here, Huck, Huck wants to reveal the truth to Mary Jane, so he told her that these men are frauds and they are claiming that they are their uncles, and they plan with each other what to do. She will go to Broughton family, and then Huck will he want to delay the day of going to England to waiting that the real uncles will come. At the end of the chapter, when the Dauphin and the Duke want to occasion the house, the real uncles of Peter Wells came. Here is the investigation. Who is the real uncles?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a humorous scene.
Yes.
which is built on what we call mistaken identity. Usually, when we have like mistaken identities, we have a lot of humor, okay? Because people will look and who's who?
Yes.
There will be a lot of confusion.
Yes. So how they know the real uncle, the real uncles of the nieces? The Dr. Robinson and the lawyer conduct investigation. They know that they are not the real uncles from the handwriting. The lawyer has some documents from the real uncles or from real Harvey and William. So everyone writes and from the two. Yes, the two writings are not matched with each other. Another thing is the tattoo that Peter's works has. So they asked what's that tattoo? The Duke and the Dauphin said that it's arrow.
A blue.
An arrow, yes.
In the blue.
But the real brothers of Peter Works said that it's a tattoo that like this, it's written like this.
The initial letters of Peter Works.
So they decided to dig the grave to make sure that it's the truth. They dig the grave and Huck take the chance and run away. He finds Jim, but unfortunately the Duke and Dauphin joined them and find them again. But Huck pretends that he's happy and glad to see them again. The Duke and the Dauphin started to accuse each other of hiding this bag of gold, and they never think of accusing Huck of that he makes that. The last chapter. Yes, they travels for miles without stopping. Then they stop in a town. The Dauphin said to the Duke and Huck, I will go to the town, and if I didn't come back, so follow me. The Dauphin didn't come back. They follow him. When they reached, they found him in a fight. The Duke joined the Dauphin, but Huck again take the chance and he ran away. It's his chance to escape from them, but he didn't find Jim. So he know from a boy that they sold Jim, and he go to search about Jim in Philip's farm, and then he will meet Tom Sawyer, and they will with each other will make a plan to free Jim.
Okay, I think there is no need to discuss these things. Okay. Let me share with you the quotations and the important quotations. Okay, we ended with chapter 24 with the moral judgment, and we blamed Huck for still having this low opinion of slaves by saying, well, if I ever struck anything like a nigger, still he has this. He's a friend, he's a companion, he's sincere to Jim, and he has already taken a decision to free him, but still, he returns some, racist values. And it seems like he needs some time to get rid of these values. In fact, chapter 25 is full of satire.
Yes, criticism.
It is criticism. Twain is criticizing the people. He's criticizing them for their sentimentalism. Like, they are silly people. They are stupid. Look how they are easily gulled by those people. Well, when it comes to that, it worked. The crowd like you never see anything like it. And everybody broke down and went to sobbing right out loud. The poor girls too, and every woman nearly went up to the girls. without saying a word, and kissed them, a sum on the forehead, and then put their hand on their head and looked up towards the sky, with the tears running down, and then busted out and went off sobbing and swapping and gave the next woman a show. I never see anything so disgusting. Like, he was upset, he was disgusted with the sentimental reaction of those people, mainly when they assumed, or like the brothers in disguise, you know, the fake brothers, succeeded in making them you know, they said sentimental words and they started to cry. So Twain is criticizing the stupid people for their sentimental taste, and of course he's satirizing those southern people.
And satirizing the king and the duke when they pretend to kneel and weep in front of the coffin.
Yeah.
But they are not originally weeping him. Pretending.
Yeah, of course, you know, this is like the whole scene is fake.
Yes.
Now the irony is when Dr. Robinson was telling the truth and nobody wanted to listen to him. We have dramatic irony because we know that he's telling the truth, and like the people do not want to believe. But you know, Dr. Robinson, the wise man, what did he say? Is it my poor brother, like this is like dear good friend and play and physician, and he wanted like to shake hands with him. What did Robinson say? Keep your hands off of me, says the doctor. You will talk like an English man, don't you? It's the worst imitation I ever heard, you Peter. Wilkes, brother, you are a fraud. That's what you are. So he discovered him. This is not imitation. So imitating, of course, like the American have their own language, and it's difficult for American to imitate the English people. Well, how they all took on, they crowded around the doctor, like this is the reaction. The doctor was telling them the truth, but they refused to accept that. Well, how they all took on, they crowded around the doctor and tried to quiet him down and tried to explain to him and tell him how Harvey's showed in 40 ways that he was Harvey and knowed everybody by name and the names of the very dogs and begged, and you know, like it seems how, you know, minute details they collected about the Peter Wilkes in order to like make the fabrication you know, like very perfect, and begged him not to hurt Harvey's feelings and the poor girl's feelings and all. It's very, you know, it's a dramatic irony, isn't it? And chapter 6, you know, we have Huck, like we blame Huck for being silent, observing those people swindling, or the king and the duke were swindling people, were playing tricks. So now we reach to a point where, hey, Huck, you should behave. And like when Huck found that the orphans were in real danger, they were going to lose their money, he decided to help. So then I let out for bed. I said, like, this is, he stole the money and, as you said, hid them in the coffin. So I let out for bed. I said, meaning sometime or another. When I got by myself, I went thinking the thing over. I said to myself, I shall go to the doctor, private, and blow on these frauds. No, that won't do. He might tell who told him. Look here, he was hesitant to tell about them. Why?
He would suspect him also. Who tells you?
Why, like, why he kept silent all the time?
Because he came with the king and the duke, so he will be suspected as a partner. Or
but in this quotation you see why, you know. He might tell who told him, then the king and the duke would make it warm for me. Shall I go a private and tell Mary Jane? No, it doesn't do. Her face would give them a hint, sure. They got the money and they would slide right out and get away with it. If she was to fetch and help, I'd get mixed up in the business before it was done with. I judged, no, there ain't good way but when I got to steal that money. He decided to steal the money. Of course, like, he didn't want to tell because he was worried about Jim. You know, his passion, his compassion, his love, his friendship for Jim made him like very careful not to tell, because he was afraid those would get back at him with revenge and take Jim and sell him.
And it happened without.
So they went off a jowing, and I felt dreadful. A jowing like they were imitating. And I worked it all onto the niggers, and yet I hadn't done the niggers no harm by it. Like, this is Jim when he said that it is not me, it's not me who took the money, or they stole the money, because they accused him. He said that the slaves did that. But here, like, this lie is not a lie for him. Why? Because, you know, the slaves were sold, and he thought
no one will be harmed.
Yeah, no one is, you know, is going to be harmed because they are already sold. And he thought, you know, it might be a reason why, you know, they might bring them back because of the money. Chapter 27, like, you know, it's the selling of the slaves themselves. The thing made a big stir in the town too. How, you know, when they sold the slaves of Peter Wilkes, like, it was very harmful. Again here, this theme of slavery is highlighted. The atrocities committed against those people when they sold them as property. Families were separated. You know, children left their mother. The thing made a big stir in the town too. And a good many come out flat-footed and said it was a scandal. Also to separate the mother and the children that way, it injured the Freud's some. But the old fool, he bowled right along, spite of all the Duke could say or do. And I tell you, the Duke was powerful and easy. You know, because people here, like, got mad why the slaves were separated from their families. At chapter 28, like, he told the truth to Mary Jane. And here it's funny because, you know, Huck is all the time is telling lies. So I went to studying it out. I says to myself, I reckon a body that ups and tells the truth when he is in a tight place is taking considerable many risks. Though I had no experience and cannot stay for certain, but it looks so to me anyway, and yet here is a case where I am blessed if I don't look to me like the truth is better and actually safer than a lie. So whatever works for him, when a lie works for him, he would tell a lie. When the truth works for him, he would tell the truth. And here, he thought that the truth, you know, would work for him better than a lie. So he decided to tell the truth. Then I came back and sat down again and says, don't you holler, just sit still and take it like a man. I got to tell the truth. Now he was addressing Mary Jane. Yes. Don't you holler, don't panic, just sit still and take it like a man. We said this is like anti-feminist because, you know, he thinks that women do not keep secrets, you know.
At the same time, he said that she was the best girl.
Oh, yeah. I got to tell the truth. And you want to brace up, Miss Mary, because it's bad kind and going to be her to take. But there ain't no help for it. These uncles of you ain't no uncles at all. They're not uncles. They are a couple of Freuds, regular dead beats. They are, now we are over the worst of it. You can stand the rest middling AC. So he told her the truth, and he asked her to like leave. Because he was afraid that her face would tell
everything.
Yeah, her feelings. So again, it's anti-feminists like accusing women of being an open book, like revealing, very sentimental. During these adventures, as we said, Huck kept thinking of Tom, of Jim, sorry. Well, I say it's rough enough, gang, them two Freuds, and I'm fixed. So I got to travel with them a while longer, whether I want to or not. Yani he found himself obliged to do that. I'd rather not tell you why. And if you was to blow on them, this town would get me out of their clothes, and I would be all right. But there would be another person that you don't know about who would be in a big trouble. Who's this person? Jim. Well, we got to save him. Ain't we? Of course we will. Well, then we won't blow on them. So here he was very careful. He didn't want like them to harm Jim, but unfortunately they harmed him later. This is like the anti-feminist. What did you reckon I wanted you to go at all for, Miss Mary? You know, why did I tell you to leave? Well, I never thought, and come to think, I don't know. What was it? She's asking him. Why? It is because you ain't one of these leather-faced people. I don't want no better book than what your face is. A body can sit down and read it off like a coarse print. You know? Yeah. Do you reckon you can go and face your uncles when they come to kiss you good morning and never? Like, he was afraid she would, you know, betray the secret.
He is very mature.
Yeah, very mature.
His thinking.
Very shrewd. Yes. Huh? Now, I think after this, he has the right to feel proud of himself. Everything was all right now. The girls, like he saved the money. The girls would not say nothing because they wanted to go to England, and the king and the duke would rather. Mary Jane was off working for the auction, then around in reach of Dr. Robinson. I felt very good. I had done it pretty neat. I reckon Tom Sawyer couldn't have done it no neater himself. Of course, he would have thrown more style. Like if Huck, again, this juxtaposition between Huck and Tom is always there. In chapter 29, as we said, the real brothers like, appeared. And we have a lot of farce because of mistaken identity. People will be confused. And the funny thing, when they dug the grave and they found the money there, you know. So again, money, materialism, money is juxtaposed with death. When people discovered about the truth of those people, so they had to escape and to sell Jim for $40. And this leads like, the climax. So when he sold, he thought that they sold his property because he thought that Jim was his property. Yes. Still he thinks that Jim's is a property for him. I mean, once I said to myself, now this is the conflict. Because he thought he has gone too far in his assistance to runaway slave. So once I said to myself, it would be 1,000 times better for Jim to be a slave at home where his family was, as long as he would got to be a slave. It's an irony, you know? Yes. like to be a slave is better than to be free, because to be like a slave is better than to be run away or to be. Why? Because here society is polluted. It is full of lies and racism. Okay, and so I better write a letter to Tom Sawyer and tell him to tell Miss Watson where he was. So his conscience, or he started, I mean, to think it is better to tell. But I soon gave up that notion for two things. She would be mad and disgusted at his rascality and ungratefulness, and he doesn't want her to be mad for leaving her, and so she would call him straight down the river again, and if she didn't, everybody naturally despises ungrateful nigger. He would be stigmatized as an ungrateful nigger, and they would make Jim feel it all the time, and so he would feel honorary and disgraced. And then think of me, like one reason, like Jim would be stigmatized as ungrateful. This is the reason why he would not tell him. The other reason is me. It would be get all around that Huck Finn helped a nigger to get his freedom. The society will accuse him of being abolitionist, and abolitionist was a stigma during that time. Like he decided then to write a letter. So he was submissive to the values, the laws of the society, and he wrote the letter. And but after that, okay. Now what did he? Like this is the irony. When he wrote the letter, he said, "I felt good and all washed clean of sin for the first time I had ever felt so in my life. And I know that I could pray now." Like when he wrote the letter, he thought that he cleared
from sin.
He washed himself out of sin. But this is an irony, because we know, like, he is committing a sin. He's not washed out of the sin when he wrote the letter and would tell him. It's it's a dramatic irony. But I didn't do it straight off. But I laid the paper down and sat there thinking how good it was. All this happened so, and how near I come to being lost and going to hell. So I started to go back and, oh my God, I was lost and I will go to hell. So he's still thinking in the way Miss Douglas and Miss Watson were thinking. And went on thinking and get to thinking over our trip down the river, and I see Jim before me all the time in the day and in the
night
time. Sometimes moonlight, sometimes. I'm just quoting this chapter because it's very important. So, we have here the real conflict, and as you see here, finally he decided to go to hell. He was, it was a close place. I took it up and held it in my hand. I was trembling like this is holding the letter, because I got to decide forever. Now this is irreversible betwixt two things, and I know it. I studied a minute, sort of holding my breath, and this says to myself, all right, I'll go to hell. It's very ironic, because we know
that he's not going to
hell. That he's not going to hell.
It's not a sin at all.
Now he thinks that he did the wrong thing, but we know that he did the right thing. But it's very nice, like he decided to listen to his impulse, to his intuition, and to take a decision. So this is, the growth, the mental growth. We have a hero who is now has become mature. He is capable of taking decisions. Okay, chapter 32, I think we have this, the chapters until 36. We have Tom, I mean, after they left, in chapter 32, we have the scene of Philip's plantation.
Farmhouse.
Jim, if you remember, was sold for the Phillips, and he was there in their house. By chance, you know, Huck went there.
And he found
he found the dogs.
Aunt Sally.
Huh?
Aunt Sally.
Aunt Sally, thought that he was
Tom.
And Tom pretends
Which
that
Tom?
he is
Sid.
Tom's brother.
But like he continued telling lies, I think. You know.
The real Tom would come.
Yes.
When he knew that he's Tom Sawyer, like he was very grateful that yes, I know Tom Sawyer, so I'm going to lie more.
Yes. And then, you know, Tom arrived.
Yeah. And he pretends that he
pretends
is.
Okay.
Tom's
So
brother.
in these, you know, in these chapters, or in this chapter specifically, we have, you know, symbolism. Again, it's rebirth. Like again, we have, like, it's a hint to Huck being reborn, because when Tom came, he and saw Huck, he thought that he was seeing a ghost.
Yes.
So we are again reminded of like
His
very, very
fabricated
Mistake
thing
in
at
the
the beginning.
what is interesting, like when Tom came, they decided
To play.
Continue with
yeah,
it.
to
Each other.
draw a plan,
Yes.
Yeah.
a plan for
Freeing Jim.
Jen.
to free. Do you know what they are going to do?
Yes, they
They want to dig a tunnel
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
it's hard
with
using
spoons,
with knives,
using a
yes.
knife.
with knives and spoons.
Yeah.
It's Tom's plan.
It was plan.
But Huck said that we can take the key and we freed him. But
Directly.
yes, but Tom wants more adventures and
romanticism.
like yes,
Wants to follow
What
the
he already
books.
knows.
And Tom knows that Miss Watson, I mean,
Has died.
no, I mean Douglas, Douglas.
No, she said that she's going to set him free.
Yes,
Yes.
he knows that.
But she had
Jim.
died 2 months before he.
Yes, but like she decided to let him free. He
Yes.
knows that he's free, but
He doesn't.
he decided to play before.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, I mean, this is like dark comedy. Why? Because they are going to delay the freedom of Jim.
And they were about
But
to die.
what might make this scene a little bit, you know, acceptable is like the way Jim was involved. Jim was satisfied because he wanted to be free.
Free.
So Jim was helping him. I think these chapters are good for, if you want, the metafiction. There is like satire of those, I mean, sentimental stories, those detective stories where people are taken captives. So look how they wanted Jim to play the role, how to write in his blood,
Yes.
Yes.
you know, how to write and how to say, like,
Here is a captive.
here there was like a
heart
man, a
captive,
heart
busted.
broken. So all these kinds
Tom
of
will
metafiction.
and then Tom will write because Jim cannot write.
Yes, I want like you, because I didn't prepare these quotes, so I want just to read some of these, you know, quotes at the end.
Like what chapter?
Two.
No, not 32. It's like, huh? Okay, we're done. So I think we can, yeah. Here, like, look here. It's chapter 37. This is what he would write. Here a captive, heart busted. Here a poor prisoner, forsook by the world and friends, fretted out. All of this is a kind of sarcasm. Here a lonely heart broke, and worn spirit went to its rest after 30 years of solitary captivity. here homeless and friendless after 37 years of bitter captivity, perished a noble stranger, you know, natural son of Louis the 19th, you know. It's very, you know, funny, but, and I would say it is dark humor, because we have like a man who is in slavery and he's suffering. Okay, but finally, like they freed him, and next time we're going to continue, like looking at those chapters in also a critical way. Hopefully we finish this week. You know, you have to help us by reading. Thank you very much, and see you.